The member from York South-Weston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. The first cooperative housing building in the city of Toronto was established in my riding of York South-Weston, a residence called Beech Hall. It was a real innovative model at that time, and the residents of what is known today as the Beech Hall Housing Corporation successfully fought off a city bid to turn the residence into a high-rise. There's even a great documentary that can be watched on this. It's called The Battle of Beech Hall, and it depicts the struggle of the residents. Since then, many more co-op homes have been built in my riding and across the province. These homes play an important role in affordable housing, and there are certain ridings, such as mine, where they are important to a great number of people. But for years, co-ops were treated different from rental housing, forcing co-ops to go through a complex and expensive dispute resolution process. Mr. Speaker, through you to the Minister, our government has reduced the cost of this process across the province. Could the Minister explain what changes have taken place?
Thank you, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing.
I want to thank my colleague for this timely question and for her continued advocacy, obviously, for the people of Beech Hall and the residents of cooperative housing in general. As we all know, co-op housing plays an important and a very necessary role in providing affordable housing to Ontarians. That's why our government worked recently with our cooperative housing partners to come up with a streamlined, less costly, less time-consuming process for dispute resolution. As you'll recall, our changes to Bill 14 helped cooperatives across the province, from Beech Hall to York South-Weston Falls Place to a co-op in Niagara Falls, no longer have to go through a 6-month process that can cost upwards to $5,000, preventing co-ops from investing in necessary maintenance or upgrades such as playgrounds. It also ensures that co-ops and their members are able to access the same protections and benefits that have been available to landlords and tenants, such as mediation. Our government will continue to invest in safe and affordable housing for all Ontarians so that they can put their skills to work and to continue to build in the growth of our economy. Thank you, Speaker.
Great answer. Great answer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the Minister for that answer. However, Mr. Speaker, Beech Hall and other co-ops today are experiencing a crisis. In Beech Hall's case, a crisis they haven't seen the like since the 1970s, when the Toronto Borough of York had decided to phase out this complex in favor of a new development. The federal government has provided assistance to co-ops and other housing providers through programs started in the 70s and the 80s. Unfortunately, these agreements are expiring, and we are quickly approaching the day when most of these contracts will end. And though our government has committed $3 billion in affordable housing funding, communities across Ontario need predictable funding for affordable housing from all 3 levels of government. Mr. Speaker, through you to the Minister, could she please explain to the House what our government is doing to ensure that we have a strong, long-term partner in the federal government so that Ontario's co-ops can have predictable funding that they need?
Thank you. Minister.
Thank you to the member for the question. Investing in affordable housing such as co-ops, we all know, pays dividends long down the road in creating jobs for Ontarians while continuing to provide housing for our Ontarians most vulnerable for decades to come. But protecting our societal responsibility of the vulnerable takes all 3 levels of government to make it work. We need to work cooperatively. This last few months ago, I listened very intently to what the federal government said in their throne speech to hear about their future plans for affordable housing across Canada. The federal government announced its intention to work on a renewed homeless partnering strategy. That's good news, and I was pleased to hear that. But I remain worried in their commitment over the long term. It looks like their commitment to affordable housing will evaporate over the next 20 years. That's why I urge our federal partners to come back to the table to ensure that Ontario and all provinces across Canada have long-term sustainable funding so that we can make the necessary investments that Canadians and Ontarians expect. Thank you, Speaker.